Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special video. A video about a game that some of you may thought that I have forgotten about. It's none other than Wuthering Waves.
Wuthering Waves?
Yes. As you know, 3.0 is right around the corner, and not long ago I finished watching the 3.0 developer livestream for the next region of Wuthering Waves, Lahai-Roi, and all I can say is that I'm very excited about this. I've been faithfully playing this game and following all the news regarding the new region, and as some of you may know, I really like Wuthering Waves. In fact, I would say that these together with Umamusume are my favorite gacha games at the moment. And I even made content about this game, albeit just one single video about Prolova, which didn't really perform very well, which was something that I expected, to be honest. But I think what shocked me the most about that video was the amount of people that were mad at me for doing WoWA content. I mean, there is always tribalism, even within the same community, like between the Kuro Games and so on and so on. But I think it's a lot more prominent between Kuro and Kuro. And a lot of people seem to attach themselves to the gacha games they play. I don't really know how to describe this, but I had people that were genuinely surprised and mad that I made a Wuthering Waves video, and I even had about 30 people unsubscribing for my channels, and I know 30 people is not that much compared to how many subscribers I have, but it was still quite surprising to me seeing so many people being mad at me for covering a video game that they don't like. I mean, it's fine if you don't like Wuthering Waves, but at the same time you can just not watch my WoWA content. But leaving that aside, I just want to say that with the dawn of 3.0 approaching, I plan to cover WoWA a lot more on the channel, and I've been thinking a lot if I should do it or not, especially since my Prolova video basically flopped. Not many people viewed it, but to be honest, I got to a point where I don't care. I really enjoy playing this game, I really enjoy exploring the lore, and I genuinely feel like I want to make videos on it. That does not mean that my regular content, Honkai Star Rail or Honkai Impactor, are going away. No, it's just that I want to add Wuthering Waves to this conglomerate of content on my channel and focus on these three games in particular. Now, regardless if you like it or you don't like it, WoWA will become a major game that I plan to cover on this channel starting 3.0. I mean, starting right now basically, but I want to make this video as a small prelude to 3.0. So I thought that after watching the live stream and learning the things that they revealed about Lahai-Roi, we can read a little bit about the lore that they also shared with us. And hey, maybe we can get a better idea about the new region and about the new characters. So without further ado, let's dive into this one. But before that, a quick message from our sponsor, Eneba. If you are like me, you probably play multiple gacha games and of course, Hoyoverse games. If that's the case, allow me to introduce you to Eneba. Eneba is an online marketplace where you can top up in all your favorite Hoyoverse games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero. The process is very simple. All you have to do is make an account, access the game you want to top up in, select your server and in-game UID, and you're done! If things are still complicated, do not worry. Eneba has a step-by-step guide tailor-made for each game that lets you understand extremely easy how to top up. Also, for those of you worried that you might get in trouble or that you might be at any kind of risk, you can put your mind at ease. Eneba offers official distribution for their top-up services, so your account is safe. The platform has many reviews and a long-standing history in selling games with many offers on multiple platforms, so you don't have to worry. Eneba also has a loyalty program with many rewards for frequent Eneba users. So don't miss out, Eneba is super fast, safe, and I've personally used it to top up in all the games I play. So before you give in to the 50-50 gods, check out Eneba using the link in my description. It supports the channel and helps you get closer to C6ing your favorite character. Again, huge thanks to Eneba for sponsoring this video. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the new story chapter, which is chapter 3, which will probably cover Lahai-Roi, just like chapter 2 covered Rinasita. And Kuro announced that we will be getting 3 story quests during this patch. During the launch, which will happen on December 25, we will have Chapter 3 Prologue and Chapter 3 Act 1. Now, I don't really see them mentioning the prologue on this update highlight in the game, but they did announce it during the livestream. And 2.0 Rinasita also got the same treatment. We got the prologue and 2 story quests, 2 story acts, if I remember correctly. But you can expect the prologue it will be pretty short. If I remember correctly, the prologue ended soon after we met Zani in Rinasita, so it will most likely be Rover talking with Chisa and the Shorekeeper in Honami, then going to Lahai-Roi, encountering some crazy thing, I don't know, monster, maybe that worm or something else, or maybe the Threnodian. Something happens, Rover and Abby are left unconscious, we meet the Lynae and we go to the academy, and from there it will be over and we will be transitioning into Act 1. So I expect the prologue to be pretty short, just the introduction to the new region, and after that we will have 2 story quests, which Act 1 seems to be focusing on Lynae for the most part, and during Act 2, which will be released 3 weeks after, when Mornye's banner will also begin, on January 15, which seems to be more focused on, again, Mornye, which makes sense, right? Now, Chapter 3, Act 1, What Burns Beneath Frostlands, which I'm assuming it's a reference to Starstorch Academy, because we know that Lahai-Roi is basically a giant frostland, which is the pole of Solaris. And Starstorch Academy exists underground, so I'm assuming that the entire area that we are getting in 3.0 is the underground area. And this makes me very curious if we will get some updates with the above area, because I really like snow theme zones, and I think it would be cool if we can get some areas above the ground. But let's read it. To reach Lahai-Roi in the midst of the void storm, you dive into the spatial tunnel which pulls you into a strange dimension. Okay, so we also learned that the void storm, which is a phenomenon unique to Lahai-Roi, and which I'm assuming also makes it even more, which happens above the ground, as I understood. And I'm also assuming that it makes it even harder for people to exist above the ground. And we also learned in 2.8 that it also cuts all forms of communication with the outside. So I'm assuming that the spatial tunnel is the thing that opened up at the end of 2.8, and that's the thing that we will be using to get to Lahai-Roi. Upon arriving in Lahai-Roi, you chance upon Lynae, a student who leads you to Starstorch Academy. So like I said, we arrive, we meet Lynae, and we go to Starstorch. As you begin enrollment, everything about this academic metropolis unfolds before your eyes. Meanwhile, shadows stir beneath the void storm. Okay, so it's very interesting because I'm assuming the first act will be mostly cute interactions, slice of life. We get to meet the characters, we get to familiarize ourselves with the new zones. And as things progress, we might notice that there are some peculiar things about the academy, about the people, and I'm sure there will be a conspiracy regarding the Void Storm, the Exostrider, and we also know that the Fraxidus will be here in some way, shape or form. Judging by the trailers, in Act 1 we will most likely battle with the giant worm mecha thingy with Lynae, because we were shown riding our motorcycles on it, and in Act 2 with Mornye we will most likely battle what it looked like the core of the Exostrider, which is basically the sun of the underground area. Of course, this is all speculation, but that's what it looked like from the trailer. But yeah, anyway. Chapter 3, Act 2, Ode to the Second Sunrise. Again, even the name is very suggestive of that, right? And honestly, this is the quest I'm more excited about, simply because Mornye is my favorite character among the newly revealed cast. It's Mornye and the pink Nanami lady that was teased. And after that, I think it's Lynae. It's very bad for me in the sense that when they drip marketed the Lahai-Roi cast, I had two characters that I was going to pull for, which were Lynae and Mornye. And after I saw the teaser with the pink girl, I also added her to that list. And at that time, they didn't really drip marketed that Mornye and Lynae will also be in 3.0 together. So when I saw that both of them are dropping in 3.0 together, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I have enough pulls to guarantee one of them, but if I'm unlucky, I might not be able to get both. And I really want them both, because I don't really have any interest in the other characters that they drip marketed, which are Luke, Sigrica, and I forgot the name of the lady with the giant hat. But yeah, I don't really have any interest in them. So I might even be tempted to break the bank for this one, because I really want both of them. But yeah, anyway, let's read the description. With the Void Worm threat gone for now again. This pretty much spoils the entire Act 1, like I said. I mean, the trailers and the footage that they shown thus far do paint a pretty clear picture of what we are going to do. But no, this time they actually just straight up say it. So I'm assuming that during Act 1, the Void Worm, as the name suggests, it's a monster that is corrupted or created by the Void Storm, and it will be the main thing that we have to deal with. And after we defeat the Void Worm in Act 1, in Act 2 we will be having a continuation with Mornye. With the Void Worm threat gone for now and the commencement of the new solar ceremony, Mornye, a research institute project lead, invites you to witness the rise of the new sun. However, a distress signal tells you that not everyone is looking forward to this ceremony. To uncover the truth, you and Mornye set off to the Bjartar Woods. So like I said, most likely the second act will focus on Mornye and the new sun, which I'm assuming it's the core of the Exostrider, and we will also go to the Bjartar Woods, which is the area that we also saw Mornye in the gameplay reveal that Kuro did a couple of weeks back. And also it's the area with those little Korok-like creatures that like to dance and the entire rhythm games and music and so on. Judging by what's written here, I'm assuming that I'm a little bit disappointed because I don't think that Mornye will play a very big role during Act 1, and like I said, she is the character I'm looking forward to learn about the most. So that's a little bit disappointing because I will have to wait until January 15 to finally learn more about her, but hey, it is what it is. Very interesting, so I'm very excited about the new main quest and looking forward to see what's going to happen and what are the secrets hidden beneath the Void Storm. Now, we also have new region, Lahai-Roi, and some of the areas in the new region that will be available in version 3.0. A warm, humid haven beneath the Roya Frostlands. Following an ancient polar shift, this region became the new Solaris Pole, prompting the Roya to migrate below ground. Here, the Space Track Collective established Star Torch Academy. Today, this borderless academic city has become a cradle for countless rising scholars. So, what's interesting to learn from here, which is information that Kuro already revealed, is that at some point Lahai-Roi was not really the pole of Solaris, and we clearly learned that a shift happened, and basically that moved Lahai-Roi to the pole of Solaris, and that's how the Froze Lands came to be. And before that, it was the Roya tribe, which are basically the indigenous people to Lahai-Roi who lived here. But after the shift happened and Lahai-Roi became the pole of the planet, they were forced to seek shelter underground, and this is how people started living here. And of course, we also learned that the Space Track Collective established here the Star Torch Academy for research purposes. Star Torch Academy. Officially, Space Track Collective Star Torch Academy, it stands as a borderless scientific community dedicated to the pure pursuit of knowledge. Its name reflects its ethos to carry the flame of inquiry and ignite the torch of civilization. Within this vast academic city, knowledge flows freely and cultures meet in harmony. So again, things that we already know about, we all already learned about the Space Track Collective, which basically is an ensemble of multiple nations who pursue knowledge and academic research with the goal of exploring space, basically. Space Track Observatory. A grand observational array established by the Star Torch Academy. Unlike the cassettes, which record humanity, the system was built to record Lahai-Roi. It continuously tracked terrain shifts, ecological cycles, and celestial disturbances wrought by the void storms and the Threnodian, like a giant eye observing the turning of the ages. Now this is very interesting. So we learned that this is basically an array that monitors Lahai-Roi itself. And its job is to track terrain shifts, ecological cycles, and celestial disturbances brought by the void storm. So I'm assuming this will be the thing that will alert us that something is happening with the void storm. And I'm very curious if this thing is related with the new mechanic that they teased in the live stream, where we can change the weather of Lahai-Roi, basically, which is again a very cool idea because you can basically make your own weather. And not only that, you can also see the environment changing based on the weather that you set. For example, if you make it rain, you will see that the water levels will also raise in the environment, which is again a very, very cool thing. Starward Raceway. A colossal lift linking Lahai-Roi to the Roya Frostland, its structure resembling a spine piercing both heaven and earth. Powered by orbital acceleration technology, it plummets and ascends through the deep cavern, serving as one point of Lahai-Roi's most important transportation hub. So basically this is the thing we also saw in the trailers, where the train goes up and basically connects the underground part with the part above, and I'm assuming also with the research center, because we saw that that's a little bit above, maybe even on the ground level, I'm not really sure yet. And it's also interesting because you know that the Exostrider is basically a giant mech, and if you look closely at the footage that they showcased in the trailer, you can see that this thing that they built the railway system on is basically its sword. If this is that, I'm assuming that this is where the train goes up. If it's something else, then I may be wrong. But judging by the description they gave us, it should be the sword of the Exostriders, which is again a very, very cool detail. And again, we have Brighter Woods, which was mentioned in Act 2 with Mornye. A sacred homeland of the Roya and the habitat of the Soliskin. I'm assuming these are the small creatures, right? Baked in the radiance of the reactor drive, its towering trees reach hungrily towards the light, their deep interwoven roots returning that energy to the earth. So I'm assuming this will be most of where the Roya tribe will be located, which by the looks of it, they seem very I wouldn't really say out of place, because these are the indigenous people. These are the people natives to the land. But there is a stark contrast between what we see in Startorch and, to be honest, most of Lahai-Roi, which looks like a very sci-fi, very modern looking place with a lot of technology and people wearing very modern themed clothes. And if you look at the Roya people, they look the total opposite. They look like they basically, you can put them on Rinascita and they will feel really at home there. They are a lot more in tune with nature, which in my opinion is a pretty nice contrast. And this brings some fantasy elements to the entire region and theming, because I know that some people don't really like sci-fi, and fantasy as a genre is a lot more popular. And I'm kind of happy to see that Kuro, even if Lahai-Roi focuses more on the space and sci-fi aspect of the story, they still like to sprinkle in some fantasy elements. And yeah, it really looks like a nice zone to explore. And we also have Argent Flare Falls, which looks very, very nice. A vast waterfall often visited by jet rays. When they leap in unison, their silver wings form a shimmering curtain, hence the name. They travel in flocks of mutual protection, and Roya herders are often seen being carried by their wings, crossing the skies together in serene harmony. So I'm assuming the jet rays are basically, I think we see them in the trailer, are those stingrays that can fly, which look very similar to the echoes in Rinascita that we can use to latch onto and fly to different places. But yeah, I really think it looks very, very nice. Now, one thing that I noticed about Lahai-Roi is that it's a lot flatter than Rinascita, and it makes sense, right? Because Rinascita was all about flying, so it had a lot of verticality in the map design because you could just fly. Now, Lahai-Roi seems a lot more flat. I'm not saying that there is not verticality. As you can see on the image that I'm showing right now, there is some, but it's a lot more flatter. And it makes sense because if you look at it, there is a vast interconnected network of roads in Lahai-Roi. And I feel like the devs designed the region with the motorcycle in mind, to be explorable with the motorcycle, because we already know that you basically don't even have to get off the motorcycle if you don't want to. You can collect chests, you can collect anything basically. So it's a very, very interesting design choice, and honestly I like it. It's very different and very each part of it feels very unique. Now we also have some new gameplay features, capturing starlight, which is I'm assuming is the photo event. The two moderators of Everything Startorch can't agree on their next future. I don't know what Everything Startorch is. Might be some sort of magazine, some sort of student magazine, and we will have to go and collect photos for them. They want to produce a freshman guide to Lahai-Roi's iconic landscape, but with the Void Worm Rider dominating the charts, could this trending topic be the key to make their future explode? So again, we learned that basically we have a student-run magazine for Startorch Academy, and we will have to go and take some shots for them. Kura G of the Blake Shore sends you a message. The Space Track Observatory has been demolished by a void storm. Despite its vital role in charting Lahai-Roi's terrain, ecology and climate, its reconstruction has stalled. Now it's the time to restore this frontier, rebuild Lahai-Roi's route network, and support the reconstruction of the Space Track Observatory. So we just learned about the observatory, so I'm assuming that we will have to, after we finish the first act of the quest, I'm assuming this will be an event that unlocks after it, and we have to rebuild this observatory, which will get destroyed. And I'm wondering if maybe during the beginning we won't really have a very vast network of roads, and as we rebuild the observatory, and we also saw that we have to build roads, so I'm assuming that most of the road network will come as we progress this event. And also, after completing this event, I'm assuming we will get access to the changing weather thingy. So yeah, very, very interesting. We also have some information about the new echoes. Haivatia, Overlord class. Enemy information. Haivatia is a Space Track Collective first detection array built at Sandermere to monitor and stabilize the reactor drive's energy state in real time. The Research Institute implanted the Exostrider's space-time error correction module runtime into Harvia's core, allowing Haivatia to adjust the Exostrider's orbit and detect hidden spaceborne threats with high precision. Therefore, Haivatia possesses sufficient computational power to predict the reactor drive's rotation. Haivatia's core function is to detect abnormal or dangerous energy fluctuations, perform immediate emergency calibration, and feed these data back to the drive to ensure stable operations. So I'm assuming this is the boss that we saw in that showcase where they showcased Lynae and Mornye's kit. Now, this is another enemy, Reactor Husk. This name gives me PTSD for all of you Honkai Impactor players. You know what I'm talking about. Which is another boss that was prominently featured during the trailers. I'm assuming this will be the main antagonist or the main thing that we have to beat during the second chapter or the second act of the story, because we saw this boss fighting Mornye multiple times, so I'm assuming it's more related to Mornye's part of the story. After the reactor drive was set above Lahai-Roi by the Exostrider, it remained on high alert to the activities of Alep 1. Which I'm not really sure what that is. When the drive's immune response is triggered, a mechanized reactor husk will arise from the depths of the energy well with the sole purpose of eliminating intruders at all costs. Research by Space Track Collective shows that reactor husk was once part of the Exostrider, interesting, and both share a mission to resist the Threnodian threat and safeguard civilization. Now this is very interesting, so this is basically a guardian whose mission is to, again, safeguard civilization, and it's tied with the Exostrider. And we also get mentions of the Threnodian, which is another interesting point, because we also learn that Lahai-Roi doesn't really have a sentinel in the traditional sense. But for all intent and purposes, the Exostrider itself is more like an artificial sentinel of this region. So it's very interesting that we have some Threnodian activity here, and I'm wondering if Alep 1 is the name of the Threnodian, and this Threnodian is also responsible for the Void Storm, maybe. So, as you can see, we have a little bit of bonus information about some of the characters, and I also find about some of the facilities of Star Torch Academy that we will also take a look at. But first, let's start with the characters. We first have Lynae here. Mr. Sigma, Signal Intelligent Guidance and Management Automaton, which is the strange robot that we saw during the first ad where they showcased the code, when we found out that Lynae actually does a little bit too much tuning on her motorbike and was caught speeding too much. Issued this month's traffic safety notice due to repeated overspeeding violations of the vehicle management code and other regulations. Second-year preparatory program student Lynae is banned from undertaking any vehicle modification. RIP. So we can already tell by her design that she's the rebellious kind of student, and basically what we learn here is that she is a second-year preparatory program student. But yeah, very interesting. Now, let's move on to Mornye. New solar ceremony reaches final stage. Professor Mornye's team has completed the first launch drill. I don't think we learn anything new about her here. We already knew that she was a professor and she's part of the research institute. And they already said that she's involved with the new solar ceremony during the description for the second act of the quest. Now, I think that Lucilla, here we learn a little bit more about the other characters, because they already revealed quite a little bit about Lynae and Mornye, but we don't really know much about the other characters. So we have Lucilla. President Lucilla states again, her office is open to all staff members and students who wish to discuss their academic or personal issues. Note, this is not a questioning. So she is a president. So I'm very curious about what this means. She's the president of what? Because I don't think she's the director of the academy, or is she? Because I'm assuming that if she were the director, she would have been called director. Maybe she's the president of the Space Track Collective or some other big shot corporation in Lahai-Roi or something similar. But it's also interesting because it says that her office is open to all staff members and students who wish to discuss their academic and personal issues. Again, the wording is very strange here, because president is not really a title you would use for a director of the academy, but the things that she does seem very much like something a director would do. So I'm confused a little bit here. She might be the director or just some high, or she might just have some high position in the Space Track Collective. Next we have Sigrika. Promising Heliodic 6 candidate announced yet another birdwatch discovery, a rare pure white avian species in Star Storch. Now, judging by her design, I even saw other people pointing out she must be from the Roya tribe. She feels very Roya coded. And even her research, which is regarding a species of bird, a new avian species, is very in tune with the Roya tribe, because they seem very in tune with nature. So she's studying animals, and her studying field seems very in tune with that thing. So I'm assuming that she's most likely from the Roya tribe. And next we have Luke Herson. New mental health department founded in Renew. Dr. Luke Herson has a message. The infirmary is open to anyone who seeks help for physical or mental well-being. Okay, so we learned that he is involved in mental health, and she is basically a doctor, like literally, which I don't know. I don't really trust doctors when it comes to mental health in academic settings after playing Persona 5 Royal. And Luke really seemed fishy. Like this man could be hiding something from us, and there's more to him than just meets the eye. And the fact that now we found out that he works in the mental health department really doesn't make things any better for him. But yeah, that's it about the new characters. Now let's go and learn a little bit more about the facilities on Star Torch Academy. So, first we have the Department of Exostrider Engineering, a department dedicated to the study and research of the giant humanoid mech known as the Exostrider. Known for its radical approach, the department's research efforts have seen translational applications in fields such as vehicle and humanoid mech engineering, Tacitite weaponry, and strategical equipment development. The department has two major divisions, the division of Resonator Mech Synchronization and the division of Tactical Development. So like the name suggests, these guys basically focus on studying the Exostrider. Now we have the Rebel College, and if you know a thing or two about the lore, you will probably recognize the name Rebel, which is basically the same as the Rebel Curve. Which is used to describe what type of resonator and resonance power someone has. Also known as the Synchronist College, the Rebel College is named after Mr. Rebel, the pioneer of Rebel's Curve, the now standardized scale for characterizing a resonator frequency pattern. With a pedagogy rooted in empirical data and quantitative research, the college is dedicated to discovering and cultivating future synchronists. If you don't know what synchronists are, basically are pilots. These are people who pilot mechs, from what I understood. In addition to general education, the college runs the Synchronist Development Program, operating independently of all departments and disciplines. All quasi-synchronists are guaranteed unrestricted access to the campus facility. So basically, they focus on creating pilots. Department of Light Energy Sciences, which is very interesting, and I want to learn more about this because this is the department that the web event assigned me in. So let's see. This department focuses on the conversion of the light energy from the reactor drive for industrial production and biological cycling. The department has two academic divisions: the Division of Light Array Engineering and the Division of Ecology Conservation. Here houses the Academy's largest Solis lens and largest resonance nexus, Telesto lens. From the center of the department, the Telesto lens incessantly converts the light energy emanating from the reactor drive to energy supply and powers the operation of all facilities on the campus require. Basically, they make energy. And we also have the Department of Void Matters, an academic organization established strategically in response to the threat of the void storms. This department is tasked with their monitoring and prevention. Its main building is the Academy's tallest signal tower, at the top of which the central observatory can be found. Researchers here carry the vital mission of investigating the origins of and mechanisms of the void storm, while developing advanced communication and spatial anchoring technologies designed for extreme environments within a void storm and beyond the Strider Gate. These innovations enable the transdimensional localization of the exostrider and real-time monitoring of synchronists' vitals. So basically this is like a watchtower. They monitor everything, what's happening above the ground and even below the ground. So yeah, basically this is it. Again, I am very excited about 3.0, about Lahai-Roi. The lore seems very interesting and I'm really excited to learn more about this region, these new characters, the new conflict that will arise. How is the Fraxidus involved? How will this new Threnodian Alep 1, allegedly, I think that's the name, will function? Anyway, thank you for joining in. Let me know if you're also excited about new Wuthering Waves content on the channel, about 3.0, and what do you think about the lore of the new region. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!